Okay, this is a reading for Cancer. It's the Native American Medicine Wheel. I do a 4-card spread. I ask Spirit for a card to show me how your mind is doing right now, a card to show me how your emotions are doing right now, a card for how you are connecting to Spirit, following your wisdom, intuition, guidance, and your physical body, appearance and health. Okay, so the card at the top and the bottom, mind and emotions, I look to see which of the two is the most positive, and therefore that helps us to pinpoint which area needs working on. Same from left to right and right to left, which card is the most positive and which area then therefore needs working on. Okay, let's have a shuffle. I need to get my sage going. I feel very uptight. I feel absolutely exhausted today. Mentally drained from teenagers. They gaslight so much, they don't know why it means, but they do it. It's like they're doing it, but they don't know what the label is for it, but the behaviour is so toxic. I don't know where they learnt to do that. But it's a high number. I would expect, like, in adults, 1 in every 20 adults to behave like that. But in the classroom, I think they learn it from each other. They're repeating anything that they think winds the teacher up. And so they don't even realise how toxic that behaviour is. It's very challenging. Constantly requires you to explain yourself. So I'm going to have to research that and find out what to say to play them at their own game. Because that is not normal behaviour, and there's so much of it. So much of what young people do is just imitation, repeating what they've seen and observed on social media, at home, within the classroom, other classmates. It's just diabolical, really. I think life used to be so much more insular and like localised, 50 years ago, 100 years ago. Toxic traits are multiplying exponentially because they're being suggested and advertised on social media, I think. There's a lot of good stuff. I don't just want to say social media's any bad, because I ask children, like, how do you know that? That's such interesting information. And they're like, from YouTube. They gain a lot of wider knowledge from YouTube and TikTok, so it's not all bad, but I don't know where all this gaslighting's coming from. Because they don't even know they're doing it, apparently. I mean, they're grinning because they know they're winding people up, but they don't know how, like, unhealthy that is. Actually, I watched, my friend sent me a Catherine Tate clip, and it's David Tennant being a high school teacher trying to teach Shakespeare, and they're gaslighting him on there, so perhaps there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, I'm laughing about it now, but it's not funny when it's you that's, like, getting driven insane. My shoulders are high, like, just talking about it. I'm going to take my makeup off, wash the day off, cleanse myself of the toxicity. Have a nice relax, I think. Okay. Spirit, please give me a card for my Cancer Collective How is Cancer's mind doing right now? This is general, guys. It's to see how you're doing. It's nothing to do with external things like love, okay? The Hanged Man. So this is a healthy behaviour because it's when you are choosing to put yourself in suspension in order to see things from a different perspective, okay? So it's like a problem solving and it's making moves with intelligence, which is exactly what crabs do, right? Sideways movements, like move a bit, stop. I mean, you stop more than you move, so it's definitely thoughtful moves being made, isn't it? It's not thoughtless actions at all. You've got to be clever to avoid the seagulls trying to peck at you. Move in stillness. Okay, so for emotions, unfortunately we've got the Ten of Cups reversed. So I think your emotions are really, you're obviously really struggling at the moment. I mean, that's the card of a wider family picture, so perhaps you're feeling lonely. Perhaps you're feeling, you know, like you're not going to have your Ten of Cups. That's not good. Let's get one for spirituality, intuition. Five of Cups. Grief, sadness, regret. You've completely abandoned, or you feel completely abandoned by fate, the divine, the gods, luck, the stars, the universe. You've totally lost all faith. You feel like divorced from your spirituality. You've got no faith that everything's going to work out. Where's that? Okay, for body, we've got the Four of Cups reversed. So actually, the Four of Cups reversed is a positive reversal. The Four of Cups, when it's upright, is somebody who's closed off to ideas, options, offers being made, you know, offers of feelings, emotions from suitors. You got your eyes shut, lying down, like, no, I'm not moving for anybody, you know, but reversed is like you becoming open to options, but you're really fighting against this lack of faith and how down you're feeling. So these are the areas to work on. Mind and body are quite positive, but without hope, you know what I mean? You've got to dare to dream. Everyone deserves to have dreams without limits. If nothing was an issue, what's your best case scenario? What is your Ten of Cups? What's your happily ever after? And I'm not talking about goals like career, because I think Cancers work really hard actually. But in terms of family life, whether that be you and a partner, you know, or 2.4 children, or 1 child, or 5 children, or no children, life is to be shared, right? So I feel bad for you. Like, I'm a hopeless romantic. I have not had perfect relationships as a Taurus. I'm an empath, so I get nice people, but I get not nice people. And I still remain open. To be honest, that's a lie. At times I've gone like, I'd rather just get a house by myself and have no one come near me, because all I seem to get is trouble off people. it's been rare to I have had beautiful connections that were really healthy and fair, and then I've just had actual awful ones, and then a run of people who don't want commitment. So I do think that's affected by the economy though, and COVID, and people being extremely displaced financially doesn't make a good nest in which to lay eggs, does it? Like when all the twigs are being blown around in a shitstorm, that isn't like a place in which to like start a family. A lot of babies were born in lockdown, but I doubt it was people who had just been made redundant overnight, or I know people who both the husband and the wife were on joint contracts abroad and both got made redundant overnight and had to shift to another country and leave their home overnight. So, we have to understand that most people didn't have a good time during or following lockdown. So, and it caused a lot of breakups. It made people, and it broke people, didn't it? So a lot of instability. We're still trying to come up from that. But there's that eternal burning flame, that desire within us to have our happily ever after. It's nature, it's natural to want that. It would be unnatural to be someone that's unfeeling or is immoved by, that desire to make a life. Lots of animals have long term, their entire lifetime they have one other mate, and they're incredibly loyal to one another. It's not unique to humans. I'm wondering if you know what your type is, Cancer. I'm wondering if you know what to ask for, because in your November reading and your weekly love reading, it was about, this is your time to manifest the person that you want, the life that you want. And the fact that it's still coming out says to me, like, maybe you need to do a bit more growing and a bit more self-exploration, like explore your own interests, and through that you'll naturally be more in environments where people have similar things in common, similar ways of thinking, similar interests. They enjoy doing similar things to you. I don't know, I need to have a look, and see who is a good match for Cancer, because obviously, like, I'm expert at my own sign. There's always a sign that as a zodiac you tend to attract. Like Taurians always get hunted by Leo the lion. I have had other zodiac signs be interested in me before, but it's mostly Leos, to be honest, and they're very opposite. They are fixed signs like Taurus, but they're fire signs. Taurus is earth. Leos have huge ego, and Taurus is very down to earth, and empaths both like luxuries. Both are very traditional, romantic. One's extremely masculine, the other's extremely feminine. So there's a good mixture of yin and yang. There's an overlap in some places. If you think of a Venn diagram, the two circles overlap because there's some things in common there, like common values, like loyalty, luxuries, traditional, setups, where one person's more domineering, controlling, and the other person more submissive. I'm not sure who matches Cancer, because you tend to research your own sign the most, so I would look that up, but I would also put myself in places where I'm exploring my own interests, like an art gallery, or a museum, or a walking club, or a book club, or throwing pottery club. I don't know, candle making club, whatever your interest is. If you like being in a sports team, or working for a charity, you know, volunteering, like whatever you're into, go and do it. Maybe you don't know enough about yourself yet, and that's the point of like this, you know, solitary time. Because I think cancers are very intelligent. I think you have old souls, but I'm not sure that you know enough about yourself because you're so busy shutting out other people. You're like almost too good at it, and then you're like not sure how to like connect to others. Does that make sense? Because you've got that harsh exterior. People kind of stop trying and just think, oh, that's what that person's like. But I think you do want more interaction with others, and I think you want that from friendships as well. The cancers that I know are very, very introverted, and to the point where they're painfully shy, and they don't come across like that. They don't come across like that. It's not shown. Everything is concealed, okay? But it's quite detrimental if you're thinking about trying to improve connections, friendship connections, work connections, relationships. That's a very detrimental way of being, you know, to have such a hard exterior and not necessarily express how you're feeling about people. I think that's something definitely to work on. I think you think so much and you feel so much, but you don't necessarily express it outwardly. It's all very contained. It's like a defensive, like, this is how I move, and it's survival. And that's clever in a way, but it's like not very smart in another way, because we're supposed to be creatures of cohabitation, not solitary. And I think you're good at being solitary. You don't see crabs going around in big groups, only maybe if it's a mass migration. You've seen all them crabs on Christmas Island, they're like bright red and there's like millions of them all moving at once, but that's like one day in a year. The rest of the time you see like crabs just so solitary. And I think it's like it's a survival mechanism, I honestly do. You know, and you might be self-sufficient, but you might be appearing to outsiders like you are happy how things are, and I don't think you are. I don't think you are. Cancer's water sign, which is cups, feelings and emotions. Look at this spread. If I move it further up, how many cards have cups on? And out of those cup cards, how many show the cups upside down? All of them. There's definitely something to be worked on here, and it might just be putting yourself outside of your comfort zone. And I think an evolved Cancer knows that they need to do that. They need to go against their instincts to kind of be solo and solitary and deal with everything themselves, and you need to actually make yourself more vulnerable, not less vulnerable. You need to actually express how you're feeling. If you're upset, express that. How do we express sadness? We cry. I've never seen a Cancer cry. And I know a lot of Cancerians. I've never seen one cry. You are feeling stuff and you're not expressing it. So an evolved Cancer over time will learn to express more vulnerability, because the people that you attract who want to scoop you up and help you and be there for you, they're good people. They're not bad people. So being vulnerable isn't a bad thing. And I think that's probably something that you're gonna like learn over the years. I think if you're wondering why people are keeping their distance, they're getting the wrong message. They're getting like that you don't need them and you don't want them. If you like someone, if you value their friendship, you need to say that to them. If you want a relationship with someone, if you fancy them, you need to openly flirt with them. You can think stuff all day, but if you're not showing it with the tone of your voice, your facial expressions, your body language, if you like got a poker face on all the time and crabs, you can't tell what they're thinking. You will have no idea what they're thinking. And when they do open up, it's like it's really surprising and really shocking. Because you're very good at self-containing, but I think your lesson will be about learning that vulnerability is a strength, because it involves putting yourself out there so other people can help you. And when people feel like they've helped, that's very satisfying to them. And I'm not talking about patronising people, I'm talking about humour people, let them show their good side, okay? I'm going to get you lots of advice. Oak. Don't just look within, dive deeply into the eternal realms of knowing. Okay, so you might, to me, that's talking about, you might want to research, like what I was talking about, your own sign. Who are you compatible with? What are your traits? You know, we all have positive traits, and we all have tendencies or behaviours or emotions that we struggle with. Like, for example, I'm Taurus, I'm a fixed sign, so I struggle with change. But I'm like an Aries cusper, so I actively drive change. And then I like struggle to cope with it. So I understand myself more from research. I wouldn't know those things otherwise. I would feel them, but I wouldn't know why it's happening. Same with me being a Libra moon. I recently found out all of my placements on my birth chart, because I didn't think I knew what time I was born, and like we found the information. So I'm just continuing to dive more and more deeply. I'm not kind of just going, oh, I think I'm a bit of an introvert and the mystery stops there. Do some deep diving into your own, like, explore yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, really, really do some, like, research. Inner power. Let it be known, no will or desire is more powerful than I embodied. We can all change at any point, okay? We can be our own worst enemies, but if we recognise that and we're willing to evolve and be an evolved Taurus or an evolved Cancerian or an evolved Gemini or an evolved Virgo, you will find out your flaws when you live with family, because they will tell you. They love you, but at some point you end up having a barney with each other and saying, you're like this, you know, you're always doing that, you know. So if you want to know what your flaws are, ask the people closest to you, because they love you anyway. They love you unconditionally, or they should. If you have, you know, that kind of family dynamic, I'm sure they've already pointed your flaws to you. And if you're brave enough, you know, you could hint and be like, I'm trying to learn more about myself. What do you think, like, I can sometimes, like, tend to do? And please be gentle with the way you word it. Rowan. There is no need to fear, dear one. Protected you are, and protected you will always be. Yeah, so, like, allow yourself to be vulnerable, okay? You're a child of the universe, you're in good company. All the stars above you are souls, okay, that have moved to a higher level of being, and Spirit's got it covered, okay? All of this is part of the divine plan. Every person, every star sign, every being goes through an ego death, goes through shadow work, goes through soul searching, hermit mode, reflects. I think we're all reflective, but I don't know if we actually manage to have ego deaths and drop, some of those tendencies or habits or things that we're inclined to do, because it's part of who we are. So we can't be mad at ourselves, we have to forgive ourselves. But how amazing would that be to understand it and then consciously not have to stop doing it, but reduce it a bit, loosen up a bit. Check yourself if you find yourself doing that thing. Check yourself. I'm late for everything all the time. It's terrible. It's really rude towards other people. And I actually can get up early and still be late. So I have to kind of make myself stop fussing in the final moments, because it's that faffing about time where I start doing extra things that I then make myself late. So it's like anything, if you've got certain habits or tendencies, bad habits, it's just check yourself when you feel yourself starting to do it, because it's probably going to have to be one of those things that you always try to be aware of. I hate going to big events and stuff, so I don't always go to the things I'm invited to, but if I do, I just have to keep fighting the fear, and put one foot in front of the other. You gotta take yourself out of your comfort zone, haven't you? Cow. May the embrace of all that is nurturing you awaken in all that you are becoming. Oh, the more you evolve, the more you'll be rewarded, okay? So it's not about chastising yourself or beating yourself up. It's about understanding yourself, warts and all, and then working on it bit by bit. Keeping a little bit of something in the back of your mind and going, every time I do that, I'm going to check myself. And it's just have a little check-in and be am I doing that thing again when... I think someone's... I've got visitors. I was if my mum's shouting me. Check yourself. I do it with loads of stuff. I'm trying to think of another example. Yeah, I love a walk outdoors. I actually really love it, and I get so much out of it. But I can spend too much time holed up in my room because I adore comfy spaces and I like to make them really nice. I can get too slovenly, or I'll get on the computer and I'd do it for more hours than I need to, and then I won't go and wash and get ready for bed. I'll stay doing I'll stay doing something when I should have stopped doing it ages ago, really, because I'm ignoring my body. My back's tired now and I'm doing another reading. If I was listening to my body, I would actually call it a night. Do you know what I mean? But there's me ignoring little messages that my body's trying to give me. I know I'm due on, my back's sore, it's been a day, my throat's a bit hoarse because I had to shout, and I should really be taking it easy and I'm doing a reading. So Taurians can overwork, there's just things that I need to do to check myself, Cancer's no different, right? Let's get you some of these. These are soul truths, so this is perfect, really. Give me a soul truth, please, for Cancer. Oops. Yeah, you're getting a lot of advice. Sometimes I just get one card of each. Sometimes a whole bunch fly out. What if it isn't true? The thing you are telling yourself right now, the concrete reasons why you think you don't belong, you can't do it, you won't get there, you're not enough, or it's not for you, what if it wasn't true? Today's soul action, it's time for a soul chat. Close your eyes, put your hands on your heart and ask the wise one within you, what if it isn't true? What else might be possible? Journal your answer. What lie do I need to let go of to reach my soul's truth? So that's about letting go of negative emotions, fears, anxieties, negative self-talk. You know, if you struggle to make connections and you don't want to go and start chatting to someone because you think that you'll be rejected, and I do that sometimes, you know, turn that off, reframe it and be like, well, if I don't go over, then I'll be sat by myself and that'll be worse. Well, if I go over and they reject me, that says more about them than it does about me. I've gone over to people before and they've received me really well, so I know it's not anything to do with me. If I go over and I'm rejected, maybe they're just having a bad day, or they don't know me that well, so that was their insecurity that they didn't know what to talk to me about. Do you know what I mean? Reframe it. It's very, very useful. What do I resist feeling right now? Oh my God, this is so poignant, guys. We have to feel it to heal it in order to let go of pain. We first have to honour its existence. Emotions are like waves. Some are soft, some are fierce, some are layered, and some will sweep you off your feet. When we allow ourselves to feel it all, we can then release what no longer serves us. Today's soul action, allow yourself to feel this wave, let it move through you, no matter how long it lasts. Then release it back into the ocean. Feel it, heal it, enjoy the sweet freedom within your soul. So don't reject emotions and pretend that you're unemotional about any problems that come up. If you're lonely, sit in the emotion, accept it, okay? Feel it, feel what it feels like for a long time, and then be like, okay, I acknowledge that I feel lonely, you know, and let it go. All people feel lonely, all people feel worried and fearful about the future. Say that to yourself. I acknowledge that I feel worried about my future. Is that something a lot of people will be also feeling right now? Yes, okay. I acknowledge that I feel worried about the future and I'm going to surrender it. It's normal to have these doubts and these emotions, okay? I accept that I have low confidence when it comes to socialising. Is that something lots of other people deal with? Yes, okay. So I'm normal then. I should forgive myself. I put myself in a lot of situations all day, every day that are very social. So I am becoming an evolved Cancer. I'm proud of myself, okay? Surrender it, let it go. Do I surround myself with people who lift me up? The people with whom we surround ourselves determine who we become. Does your tribe fill you up? Do they inspire you? Do they believe in you? Do they help you step into your greatest potential? You know, sometimes if you're feeling like an outsider, it's not your fault, it's how other people make you feel. Sometimes you can really just gel with someone, but if you think about how they treat you, they've probably welcomed you into their home, constantly asked you if you've got everything you need, and then sent you away with a gift. I've got so many friends who are like that. Some of them are Tauruses, one's a Libra, they just make you feel like there's nowhere they'd rather be, and they can have their family in the house, like their kids, their husband, but they're all happy to see you. You're part of the family, and that's the sign of a very, very good friend. If you feel like you're surrounded by frenemies, or you're not sure if you're being well received, you're probably not. Being well received, you probably are surrounded by frenemies, and workplaces can be like that. But you tend to find at least one person who gets you, and sometimes it takes a while. But yeah, that's another reason why you can be drained when you get home from work, because you think, God, I'm dancing around all kinds of like freaks here. People that have got it in for me and never done anything, you know, to them. That's how I feel anyway. I need to stop talking about me and experiences. I'm giving too much away here. I'm an oversharer, by the way, Cancer, so you're in good company. You can learn a lot from a Taurus. Taurians feel safe around people who are as honest as them, as transparent as them, and we don't cope well when we have to be strategic, premeditated. When we're around people who are strategic, premeditated, and have got it in for us, we're not able to think that many steps ahead. It's not natural to us to be like that, so sometimes we say too much and give away too much information, and it's used against us. But I'd rather be the way that I am, and I'm not denying, you know, the limitations of that, but I'm not going to reject who I am, because I'm meant to be an empath. I'm meant to have a thin skin and be highly sensitive towards others in a good way, you know, despite what limitations that brings. I can be very hurt by other people because of my thin skin. So yeah, there's powers. With great powers come great responsibility, but also a lot of burden, right? So we all have these aspects to ourselves that are double-edged. I thought there was 4 of those. Was it just 3 of those? Oh yeah. Make a desire list of the type of people with whom you wish to surround yourself. That's a good idea. And clarify if there is anyone in your life who no longer serves you. Can you love them from a distance? If you're around energy vampires or people who you feel like don't actually care about what happens to you, draw some healthy boundaries and let in some of the ones that do make you feel good. Have a bit of a clear out, but also allow, you know, you push some people out but allow some others in, okay? Like I say, if you feel really comfortable and welcome around someone, you know, and you think, God, I had a really nice time there, you know, like, I have a really good time with them every time I see them, it's just easy. Then you know, right? You gotta feel it. You can't shut the emotions off. Just allow it. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I want to spread these cards out so you can see them all. I don't always do this, but I feel like there's a lot of advice here and it's nice for you to have a photo of it. You've got homework here. If you don't want it, just be like, screw you, love, I'm not doing that. But I think I'm someone that loves to work on myself, so it's your choice.